Welcome to the show. It's House of Decline. My name is Steven. Alex is here.
Hi.
So I got some things to talk about. I got a list. First off, announcements. First, change of clothes of the pandemic for me today. Second announcement, I'm tired of hearing about Easter. What do you like? Kind of fuck Easter. What do you think?
These goddamn Easter devils are shoving their eggs in our faces, and we aren't going to have it anymore.
I don't know what that means. But
the resurrection, yeah, buddy. When I can get an erection, all bother me about the resurrection.
Okay.
Solve my erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Before I care about Jesus. You know, I think that was a South Park joke or something.
I didn't have to hear about Easter basically until I got back on Twitter. So I'm kind of pissed at Twitter because I went like 4 years. I went today, like, someone's ironically liking Newt Gingrich and Callista Gingrich talking about Holy Week and Easter, and I get it. Okay, it's ironic, but I had 4 years of not thinking about Holy Week and Easter, which was fantastic.
We had recently, on the Jewish side of things, we had Passover, which is known as Jewish Easter.
Is it? I thought it was more like...
it's not. It's about Moses parting the Red Sea and leading the Jews from bondage in Egypt, even though there is no historical record of the Jews actually being enslaved in Egypt.
Oh, boy. Egypt.
The historiography of the Jews in Egypt is it's spotty, but we participate in the tradition anyway, because we love it. Because it's Jewish Easter. It's when Jewish Jesus was
Egypt,
resurrected.
very topical.
Yeah.
Egypt's very topical right now. I mean, Suez is blocked up. It's got a blockage. And the villages that are like around it have nothing. And so they just see like this mountain of containers. And they're like, man, wish we could get some of that.
You think looting's gonna start soon? I would loot. What do you think are in the containers? Funko Pops?
A little bit of everything. Like a little. It's like a Noah's Ark. It's of consumerism.
Oh, wonderful. 2 of every product.
Right.
And they fuck. Ooh, that's a good idea. We should make products able to reproduce. No, they would never do that because then, there would be resale issues. Unless they did DRM on the product babies. But then, like, the little PS5 babies would gain sentience.
You mean copyright and
up.
patents?
Yeah.
DRM on the product. Okay. Anyway, Easter, I've had enough of Easter. I may have to log off of Twitter because I keep getting reminded of it.
Who's reminding you of Easter?
People, I was
Liz
saying.
Brunig making Easter treats for her gay children?
Yes. Don't insult the children. Yes, she is making Easter treats.
What is something going on with the Brunigs? Are they canceled again? I can never keep up with the zeitgeist on the Brunigs.
Yes, they're both canceled right now.
How did they end up in free speech jail?
Liz Brunig falsely implied someone should not be allowed around children because they were saying that they would let their 12-year-old get a tattoo, and Liz Brunig
Noah
sarcastically...
Berlatsky?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy? Yeah, but that's funny. Liz was being very funny there. That was a funny joke.
Well, whatever. She's canceled, and Matt is canceled for the picture of Xi Jinping sprinkling COVID on the world.
That was also very funny. Did
Canceled.
these people not realize this weird Catholic and atheist are very funny people?
Yeah, some people do. They have defenders.
Yeah. I mean, my defenders they win me over because they can crack wise, I find that to be an attractive quality in people, being able to crack wise and whatnot.
Well, that leads me to our third topic of the day, which is snitching. Do you think
Who's been snitching?
Do you think we've become a snitch culture?
Some people, I think there's as much a reaction to the snitch culture as there is a snitch culture. And who are we really snitching on to who? I think it's good to snitch on Nazis. I like it when, all those Charlottesville people lost their jobs. Well, I thought that was pretty cool.
There's this lady who called this boy's school because he posted a fat joke on TikTok. And the joke that he posted was, I know that 97% of women say they've experienced sexual assault is false or sexual harassment is false because I know that more than 3% of women are fat, implying that they're not desirable because they're fat. So this lady,
oh God, that's bad.
This lady called his school.
Oh man.
Yeah. So what about that? Is that good or bad?
That's an escalating. Well, I will give you the Marxist or materialist take on it, which is the fact that people's livelihoods are tied to their professions in the first place is why is a problem. You know, if we had UBI, you would be able to censure a person, but because they would still be getting, a basic amount of income to cover their expenses, it wouldn't matter that they were fired from their job. So, because we force people into livelihoods and we make them dependent on that, and because it's easy to lose that if you don't have a point of view which conforms, which, is good sometimes. I'm glad people lose their job when they're Nazis or fucking pedophiles, like Reddit person recently. Yeah. Was that another topic on your list?
No, I left that one off, but I guess we could go over it.
I mean, it's a fairly controversial issue because, I think researching on what that person was all about, what's their name? Amy Therese? That's their name? It was Amy Therese?
Ow, burn. No, it was Amy Knight, but also her last name was like Shalinor, but she's married to someone that has the last name Knight.
Yeah, okay, it's the same. A better example is the Google Memo guy. The Google Memo guy wrote an atrocious misogynist screed, but I don't think he should have lost his job over it. And if Google union workers were unionized, then he probably would have had a better shot at not being fired. It's because we tie people's livelihoods to work. Is the reason why we can't, have this
is all well
discussion
and good.
Where we alienate bad ideas.
This is all well and good, but this kid is in high school. So she called his school. And so it's that kind of snitching. He's a kid. He's like under 18.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's beyond the pale, it feels like.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that.
Like, you can't contact them? Like, you can't just, DM them or something like that? Or, why obsess over it that much to begin with? Do you think they're, like, a literal danger to their community or something? Like, I get it if the kid was like, I'm going to kill everybody tomorrow.
Well, so the result of this is that this lady has been doxxed, and all of her friends have been doxxed. And now she's freaking out. So it's a huge clusterfuck.
Is she new to the internet?
No, she's like, I would say, judging by my highly perceptive powers of age determination, she's like 34, 35.
Okay, but is she there? Okay, so there's a term that I'm sure is already like a marketing or like bloodless PR term, but I find it useful to describe what happens in a lot of cancellations, and it's called social media literacy. Along with, when Marshall McLuhan said the medium was the message, he was right on the fucking money, because Twitter and Facebook and Instagram all carry within them their own implicit languages. And if you offend these implicit rules of language, you're looking at a cancellation. Someone will suddenly gain an audience after an appearance on a show, and they'll tweet like they did before, not realizing that because they have this new audience, they're interacting totally differently with the website now. And as a result, stuff that they would have said before that their audience would have assumed would have been in good faith, their audience is like now, oh, I don't know about that, because it's a much broader one. So, there's this secret language. I think, you know, a cliche now is like normal people have to think like a celebrity when they're putting shit out there. They have to be sort of measured and manicured. And even if you have an irreverent internet persona, you need to have a measured and manicured version of that within this sort of narrow range of acceptability. Unless you have like a weirdly low following and you can get away with crazy shit like Muslim Tom from You Can't Win, who posts like insane shit that I can't believe he leaves up there.
Oh man, I don't follow him. I should follow him because I like that pod a lot.
It's a good pod. You Can't Win. It's one of the best. One of the best out there. In the whole stupid leftosphere weirdness, it's not even really leftosphere. It's its own thing. It's its own very weird, specific thing.
Yeah, they're kind of our idols.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian and an American.
Wow.
With antiquated beliefs.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. They're doing our show.
We're both on something awful.
They fucking they ripped us off. Okay, next topic.
Yeah.
Give me an answer to why chevron is good.
I like the chevron pattern that appears in Twin Peaks.
Okay.
Which is the line pattern. The Chevron, the oil company?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, Chevron. Okay, why is Chevron good is my note here that I have.
Well, if you're someone like me who is a metaphysical believer in the time is a flat circle Calvinist model of things, where everything is fated to be, and we are doomed to repeat our actions over and over again without having realized we've done them before. So what I think, and because this is all part of some weird grand design, like a puzzle ball Rube Goldberg machine that doesn't do anything in particular, but sort of looks flashy and is vaguely satisfying when it's moving around. And I think that's the point of the universe. And so Chevron is merely fulfilling its duty in creating this grand irony of a creature that gains intelligence only to dig up the bones of the past and choke itself to death. And I think in carrying out this grand irony, we are fulfilling some sort of objective purpose. So, you know, kudos to the death wizards out there.
I was going to say it's because that guy Steven Donziger
Donziger.
He's actually a modern-day conquistador trying to conquer South America, and Chevron has got him locked up in a house. Thank goodness. No, that was a joke.
Don't sue. We're fragile.
Oh, sue me then. The thing is, he's got time because he's locked up. Anyway, so yeah, Chevron
you come up with
locked up like a guy. Anyway.
The traditional neoliberal justification for oil is that, you know, without oil power, we would not have industrialization and thus all the luxuries. You know, everything you use right now, whether you like it or not, is powered by oil.
Yeah.
So even our cognizance that oil is bad is in turn fueled by oil. It is a necessary step in our evolution.
They're preventing us from moving to the future because there are other energy sources. Many. You know, we have many other energy sources now.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. But what's good about it, in their monopolized realm, they're technically fueling partially our podcast right now.
Oh,
providing
they are
oil
fueling
to some
it
generator.
In many ways.
Yeah. Everyone is support. I mean, that's why it's like we should totally get sponsors, right? Because you're fucked either way. You know, you're just always fucked.
This can launch us into talking about the Suez bro now, as I like to call it, which is
bro now.
According to the New York Times, if they don't get it unblocked by tomorrow, then it's gonna start fucking up consumerism, and we're not gonna be able to get our products.
No, products. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I do like products, but it would be funny. We'll get a glimpse of what it would be like in a world with slightly less globalization.
Yeah, in a world where you have to go around Africa. All the way. It's going to cost, and the thing is that's annoying, they're going to just start doing that probably on Tuesday, and that's going to burn so much fuel.
Yeah, it's great. We can't stop the capitalism. We can't stop the machine. I mean, that was very much the problem of the pandemic, too. You know, why all those half-hearted lockdowns and total half measures. We can't stop the machine. The machine needs to run. It requires bodies. It's grumbling. So, you know.
Yeah.
But we need our spices. Steven, our spices. We need our spices from the Orient.
Yeah, the meats must have flavor. That's true.
What will we do without our cardamom? Let's start a war.
Yeah. Someone had the idea of taking off all of the containers and assembling a new pyramid out of them, which I thought was nice. They did a nice Photoshop. Mm-hmm. Like a freed ship and just a new like Lego-like pyramid, multicolored. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they might actually have to start unloading it, which would be crazy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, just like taking it apart. And then...
Yeah.
Bro, here's what you do. You get, like, 40 helicopters, and you,
No, wait. Everything you say you think is an exaggeration, and it is not. Because they will need helicopters to unload it. They will also need some of probably the tallest and most powerful cranes in the world that we have.
Yeah.
Because it has to be... Like, they can't just position the crane right up next to it because there's a waterway.
No one has died as a result of this, have they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I'm trying to assess... this is one of these, like, funny, huge engineering disasters. Like, we're familiar with a lot of the bad engineering disasters, like Chernobyl and such.
I'm sure someone could figure out a way to make it seem like someone dies as a result of this, but that's complexity theory, and you can refer to a previous episode for that.
Mm-hmm. We're going around the Horn of Africa, boys, just like in the old days. It would be funny if, like, they all resort back to homosexuality because they're going around the Horn.
All the sailors?
The Suez Canal, we got there quick enough to avoid resorting to homosexuality, and now we're just sucking each other's dicks again. Yeah. This is terrible, Captain.
Yeah,
we're all gay again.
All the sailors are British. That's very true.
All the British sailors. Yep. All the maritimers from the 19th century.
That's who
does it. A bunch of
privateers. Yeah.
We're a bunch of privateers sucking our private parts. You know, privateers are pirates, actually. I'm mixing up my British nautical things.
Dude, you got to play more Civ 6. You wouldn't make that mistake.
You're right.
Yeah.
I just wanted the privateers sucking private parts line. But that would be more of a gay pirate scenario, which I'm also very down with.
I don't want to get Civ 6 canceled, but... They have an achievement called Standing Like a Stone Wall.
Okay.
And the picture of the achievement is a little Confederate flag.
What?
Yeah, no, it's in the game. It's in the game, and it's like Steam shows the achievements, and it's like, I don't fucking want that on my Steam page. And yet
fucked up.
Anyone can go and look up my achievements and see that I've made that achievement. I don't know how. I played as the Americans and like did some military thing, and all of a sudden I get a Stonewall Jackson achievement.
I feel like who does Civilization? Is it Sid Meier? Is it...
well, that guy sold his name.
I know he sold his name, but it's probably nerds in the vein of Sid Meier. You know, guys that on the side like play really complicated World War II board games.
It's libertarians.
Yeah, libertarians. Yes. So they're like, it's just history, you know? Mm-hmm. Because I at first, because my gay brain, the first thing it went to is like, oh, Standing Like a Stonewall. Oh, the Stonewall riots, of course. It's going to be an achievement for gay rights. It's for LGBT rights. And you get a little pride flag. You get a little BIPOC pride flag.
Standing Like a Stonewall does not refer to Stonewall.
It would be nice if it did. We should petition Civ 6. Hello, you LGBT Civilization players want more representation. We want a Harvey Milk avatar. We have Gandhi, but no milk. We want a Pete Buttigieg avatar.
Man, Pete Buttigieg has been just knocking it out of the park as transportation secretary. I have to say...
Sec Transpo.
I would love to work for him one day, perhaps in the ideas department of the Secretary Office for Transportation, because I have a lot of other really good ideas.
What are your ideas?
Well, I was thinking that one way we could reverse how much people drive is by just reversing the odometers, and so that every time that they drove, it would be negative taxation. Because we're going to... and then you could actually make money, right? Because you get
Right.
Yeah. So that's just, probably he would really like that idea. Because I know he's really smart. And number one, because he's a mayor. And I know how hard it is to become a mayor.
Well, the thing with the reverse odometer proposal is it's a wonk proposal, It's a real wonk proposal. Only wonks are going to get it.
Yeah. It's the word is policy, but I like to think of it more as a proposal, like a marriage proposal, which...
I think that's really right, because it's about a union.
Mm-hmm.
What other ideas you got? What other sec transpo ideas you got? Not sec transpo, but sick transpo ideas.
Obviously, the number one is dirigibles. I would press hard for dirigibles to replace trucks. I know that the lead singer from, I believe, Iron Maiden, Bruce something or other, Bruce Dickinson. He is a huge fan of the dirigible.
He has a Class D pilot's license.
Yeah, he's got a pilot's license. I believe he's piloted dirigibles. I would just make it a dirigible-focused thing. I would ask for money for a pilot to do a dirigible, shipping company, and it would, gracefully have shipping containers floating in the sky instead of blocking up the canals and clogging the arteries of our freeways, which should be... there should be sidewalks on the freeways.
Absolutely. And we're not even...
And bike on them.
The military application alone, the paramilitary application, in Batman the Animated Series, there were police dirigibles, which, I think is a very good idea, because that's exactly the type of slow-moving oversight you need on a city street,
Yeah, I think if we made the police only be based in dirigibles, and they'd have to unroll a tiny, very long ladder to come down and arrest anybody.
Yeah.
Might really cut down on some of the problems we have.
They could only shoot suspects from the dirigible, so they'd have a pretty good chance. And they'd only be able to use small pistols, small arms.
Yeah, no rifles.
No rifles. Just a Glock at 200 feet.
Well, that brings us handily to our next topic, which is the TrueAnon 4-hour pod on Stephen Paddock in Mandalay Bay.
Another. Okay, TrueAnon is mixed content, but their best content is great and amazing and wonderful, like also their Norm Finkelstein interview.
Oh, it's so good.
And
that's just
this Mandalay Bay one with Felix from Chapo, genius, pure genius.
They don't go over. I mean, they don't really say any big theories, which I wanted them to.
Well, do you have a big theory?
Well, not really, because I haven't researched it enough.
Well, but that is the nature of the paddock. You can only go over, various weird things surrounding it, but it all adds up to nothing. The Jimmy Garrison gamble of, eventually you start seeing patterns. You have to look for patterns. You have to overview the patterns. It just doesn't come up with fucking Stephen Paddock, which is why it's so frustrating. Because whenever there's a tragedy, a horrifying tragedy, the first instinct is to craft a narrative around it to explain it. People say, oh, don't say the name of the killer, don't talk about the biography of the killer, but there's this incredible natural human curiosity to know, no, I want to know what made this guy do this. I want to, have some way to explain this. And I think that is sort of the obsession with serial killers as well, is I need some way to explain this. I need a story in order to show that there's an arc to this guy doing something unspeakable, And so when that doesn't happen, and especially when it's the biggest spree killing of all time, It's this incredible scar gap, this just thing that we can't rationalize whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you have a really deep metaphysical wound like that, maybe the scar tissue is so immobilizing that you never have a coalescing like narrative around it, and that's why it seems so weird. It does seem weird that it's not mentioned much.
Yeah. But it's also weird just how weird the details around it, like his dad being a bank robber and his brother being a pedophile and his, like...
I think people place too much stock in what a person's parent is. Like, I've recently found out that Tony Hawk's dad, Frank Hawk, founded the National Skaters Association, but that in no way should diminish the achievements of Tony Hawk.
Are you saying that Tony Hawk is a nepotism baby?
No, I'm saying precisely the opposite.
Right. Tony Hawk achieved on his own. Even though he was given a leg up by the industry, which he'll admit, his achievements are his own, just like Laura Dern.
Yeah. Now, just because Tony Hawk was practically bred in a test tube with a half pipe doesn't mean...
Just because Frank Hawk fucked a half pipe gave birth to Tony Hawk
doesn't mean that he wouldn't have been the first guy to do a 900.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and then to do it switch style, and then to do an ollie. So what?
You want to hear a spicy take about Paddock that might get me canceled?
Yes, and then I'll tell you my theory.
Okay. So another mass shooting situation was Omar Mateen of the Pulse nightclub shooting, which was, in the media narrative, a homophobic shooting, right? Because Omar Mateen, he's a brown guy, and brown guys hate gays. And so he goes to Pulse nightclub in order to make good on his pledge to Allah. And ISIS even took credit for it, which was funny, but they'll take credit for everything. I think ISIS took credit for Paddock, too, right?
I think so.
That's so funny. Good old... I did that. That was me. So, Omar Mateen, though, the weird thing about Omar Mateen is there's evidence to show that he cased a bunch of nightclubs on the Orlando Strip that Pulse was also on, showing that what he was looking for was basically more occupancy and just a way to kill as many people as possible. So there is a suggestion to show that his crime was not a hate crime, but more of a Paddock crime. Something that is just sort of senseless and maybe born out of this nebulous, toxic masculinity, I guess. But you can't even attribute it to that because you really know so little about the dude.
Well, can we be intersectional with our mass killers, or I guess we're not supposed to be? Because I don't know. A lot of different things could have set them off, but I do know that there's also a huge amount of conspiracy around Omar Mateen. Because he was like in some movie, wasn't he? In some movie.
He was in a movie? I don't know anything.
Really?
About that.
Yeah. Well, he was like in a movie, so people were saying he's an actor. But my theory with Paddock is that maybe he was for motive is that he was a gun runner of some kind, and for something got messed up with his business being a gun runner, and he snapped and decided to kill a bunch of people. And the motive is not that it was gambling or anything, but it's just like a part of his life that we might not know because of this missing hard drive. And I think it was that he was illegally selling guns and decided to go out in the style of his employment.
Is it just like the idea that he embodied this man of danger now?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. But why do you think the gun running thing is plausible over other theories?
Well, just because, someone who buys that many guns, they said he bought 90,000 in 1 year. He spent $90,000 on guns. To be, I guess, I don't know.
And I thought magic cards were an expensive hobby.
I guess is that just someone with an expensive hobby? Aren't there limits?
I feel like
can't you? You shouldn't be allowed to buy that many guns.
I feel like an expensive, like really good assault rifle probably costs somewhere in the 5 figures, right? I don't know my gun prices. Know.
I mean,
I'm not a gun expert.
Yeah, I could see it being like around 50 guns or something. $90,000 worth.
Like, how much does an AR-15 cost? Like $5,000?
But if you buy 50 guns, how is the government not like? Are you starting like a little army? Just a little one?
I'm sure there's some sort of weird loophole. Like, if you're registered with this organization, you can have a tank.
Well, come on. Shouldn't be able to buy 50 guns.
Why? Defend yourself.
You only have 2 hands.
Hook them up all into one big gun.
I got 50 kids, so I need is to defend my family. We have a compound. We're all related, and like by then you're just at Waco, and that's what did in the Waco guys. They were just like,
if those kids had guns, they would have been able to kill David Koresh when he molested them.
I don't know. I never finished the series, the dramatized propaganda on Netflix about it.
Yeah. We've been having a lot of hot serial killers, which I think is fun. Evan Peters is going to be Dahmer in Ryan Murphy's new series. Zac Efron was Ted Bundy.
That's garbage
that guy,
culture.
I love I love hot serial killer culture. I want the hot serial killer extended universe, where they all get together and make out. I want to see hot Gacy make out with hot Joseph Callinger.
It's so twisted, man. That's too twisted.
Whoa, man! All these gay serial killers make out. Fun, man.
It's Joker-fied. You've been Joker-fied.
Joker's making out with Dahmer. 69ing. And they're laughing at each other's dicks.
No,
biting off his dicks.
Oh, man, I'm so scared for society now.
The hot serial killers society?
Yeah, just because of everything that's happening with the cancel culture and everyone's Joker-fied and being evil, which leads us to Lil Nas's satanic shoes.
Lil Nas X, a beautiful internet person. He has come out with a new song, Montero, Call Me By Your Name. Montero is his given name, and presumably the song is a message to himself as a young lad suppressing his sexual identity. And Call Me By Your Name being a reference to the movie directed by Luca Guadagnino, starring Timothy Chalamet and Cannibal Man.
I thought that the song was about him being horny for Satan.
He does grind his booty into Satan for the latter half of it.
But then,
he takes a stripper pole down to hell. Frankly, I love it. I think it's a great video. It's an amazing video.
Because then because what I thought it's about, it's not about him being horny for Satan. It's actually about him doing shot-for-shot replicas of SpongeBob frames.
yeah, he showed the treatment for it, and in his treatment for it, he had SpongeBob references.
And he does a shot-for-shot replica of a SpongeBob frame. It's fantastic. And
but it's a high concept religious thing.
And he's got like Marie Antoinette blue hair. It's very good.
It looks like Marge Simpson.
He's very artistic, and he's who I would send to the aliens if they needed a taste of our culture.
What I like about it too is it embraces pop music of. Have you ever heard the term non-cochlear sonic art?
I can figure out what that means. Yes, it's like thumpings and vibrations for the deaf people.
So it's based on the idea. So Marcel Duchamp, the surrealist artist, once coined the term non-retinal visual art, which is because he was criticizing the emphasis on painting at his time, and the idea that what if we have a visual art where the idea is primary and the art is secondary despite it still being visual art. And I feel that's very much the tenor of Lil Nas X, where the music, while being an important factor, is secondary just to the general vibe. The general weird internet vibe. And the music is to serve the vibe rather than the other way around.
The vibe as a word has achieved increased importance. It's like leveled up somehow in a way that as an old guy now, I'm just not aware. I can kind of catch out that for something to use this word vibe, it means of increased importance than my generation placed it. But I'm no categorizer of words. I can only sort of experience the ephemera.
Well, I don't know. Vibing out is like, it's pretty, I get it. Makes sense as the language, but
well, it's something that Chet Hanks would say a lot.
Does Chet Hanks say vibin'
a lot? I think he says that a lot.
Says vibe. It's White Boy Summer.
Yeah, he's our cultural ambassador. Biden should appoint him to be a cultural ambassador. Like, didn't Obama appoint some cultural ambassador?
Yeah, he appointed Kumar from the Harold and Kumar movies.
Yeah, I think
he appointed Cal Penn from.
Yeah, Chet Hanks should be.
And they had to kill his character off on House so he could work as the cultural liaison for Obama.
Biden would be like, oh, white boys. Yeah, we need white boys like me and Chet are here to say it's okay.
Listen, Jack, we're losing a lot of the white boys to the old Klan there. And, even though I had reconnaissance with good old Robert Byrd back in the day, he said to me, hey, Jack, Klan's not all it's cracked up to be, okay? And so me and Chet Hayes, it's gonna be Black Queen year all year round, Jack. Okay.
Wait, I thought he changed his last name to Hayes.
No, his name is Chet Hanks, but I think his rapper handle or it's a social handle is Chet Hayes.
Wow.
Because it's very funny.
That's pretty cool, man. He's like the coolest guy.
He's just uniquely American. I think he's very talk about vibe. Talk about somebody who's birthed of a zeitgeist in the most uniquely American figure of Tom Hanks, who represents that sort of boundless wholesomeness and optimism. And from him comes a SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah.
The most indicative male archetype of this era.
And all the good SoundCloud rappers are dead, and the ones that are left are like Chet Hayes.
Yeah.
They all they all drank all their Robitussin on an airplane because they were afraid the cops were after them. That's what they did. Sorry.
But the thing is, Chet Hayes doesn't look like Tom Hanks. I'm thinking Rita Wilson had a side piece.
Oh wow! You heard it here first.
I'm not going to accuse that.
You heard it here
Rita,
first.
Rita, why did you do this to me?
Wow. Oh, this should be. We're going to lead with this. This news.
This is our TMZ.
Holy shit! Oh man, we should.
We should. For people who don't know, if people aren't very online, Chet Hayes, Chet Hanks, is Tom Hanks' son. He's a white rapper type and also an actor. And he recently said in a TikTok video that he feels like it's going to be a real white boy summer. Yep. Not like a racist MAGA thing, but like me and John B. and Jack Harlow, who are presumably other white boy rappers. That kind of white boy summer.
Right.
And then he issued some rules for white boy summer, which is,
like sneakers. You got to wear sneakers.
Yeah, don't wear sneakers. Don't wear like boat shoes.
No boat shoes. Yeah.
No calling women smoke shows, which is a very strong rebuke of Barstool Sports and their whole culture. So, I think what we're seeing is that Barstool Sports, they're not part of White Boy Summer, which is a pretty magnitudinal shift.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the best memes to come out of the Trump administration was when that guy Dave went to interview Trump, and there's a picture of them both laughing and pointing at their phones.
Dave Portnoy?
Yeah. And that meme became like just sort of ubiquitous for a while. It is very good. But that guy is, I don't know, I don't really like Dave Portnoy. But I kind of do.
I don't know anything about Barstool Sports. I think maybe the attraction to Dave Portnoy is that whatever else, he seems like he really did build this stupid media brand from the ground up, and it seems to have this natural sort of brotherhood type of community, like this actually like naturally cultivated community, as opposed to like other different corporate brands. Like, people actually seem to have a sense of community with it, not mediated by, like, I'm sure Barstool is owned by some huge media conglomerate, but the way people use it, they use it almost like people use Something Awful back in the day, less as like a means to achieve media clout and more as just like a brotherhood of idiots trying to make each other laugh. And I think that's what people like about Barstool. And when I say brotherhood, I mean brotherhood, including like the Call Me Daddy Smoke shows, because they're like,
whoa,
I like the guys. I'm the chick that likes the guys.
You violated a rule of this White Boy Summer. What's the punishment?
I call him Smoke. I don't know what the punishment. Presumably Chet Hayes is going to show up at my house and punch me in the face.
Yeah, it's that or like racial banishment.
Oh no.
You are banished to a different race.
Oh man, are you kidding? That's the dream of all white people now. That's the dream of all,
Whoa, we are treading on cancelable ground here, my friend.
It's gonna shift gears here. But that's like I'll speak frank, especially like as a Jew boy, every Jewish boy wants to be black. Every Jewish boy wants to listen to hip hop, and they want to be black. They even talk about it in the horrible, horrible transphobic South Park episode.
Okay, well, then you shouldn't use it as evidence then.
No, I'm not using it as evidence, but I'm saying it's ask any Jewish person. It's a total phenomenon that little Jew boys want to be black.
But maybe a guy from Colorado isn't really know what can't speak for the culture.
No, I don't think he can speak for the culture, but it's fairly ubiquitous for me is that, every Jewish kid I knew growing up idolized hip hop culture and, idolized black culture and tried to act black a lot of times, and
okay.
It's just a very common occurrence.
All right. Well, I'll take your word for it.
It's a thing. It's a total thing. Uncut Gems is basically a movie about that phenomenon.
I thought he liked sports gambling.
It was sports gambling, but it's also like the weird relationship between Judaism and blackness. Because Uncut Gems, I think, originally had Amari Stoudemire as the basketball player in it. And Amari Stoudemire is a black Jew. And, the movie, it has them originally mining the opal from Ethiopia with the Beta Israelites. And, the Beta Israelites are famously discriminated in Israel. So it's about the weird relationship of exploitation, but also mutual understanding between Jewish and black people.
So did they tone it down? They were like, we got to tone it down.
They couldn't get Amari. Yeah, well, a lot of that's still in there.
Shit.
Like the inherited sense memory of oppression and shit like that is still in there.
But if you tie it together the way you just did, it would be like really out there.
It is. I think it retains a lot of that in the movie. That's why I think Uncut Gems is a beautiful movie. The softies even talk about it.
I think it's better that it's not that's made subtext rather, because
it is probably better that that's made subtext.
That's like a good a great entry point for having their film talked about academically, which I'm sure everybody wants.
But even in other famous, black projects as of recent, look at the Straight Outta Compton movie. It's about a conflict between NWA and Jerry Heller, a Jewish man. And, the fact that he's Jewish plays a significant role in the movie and the antagonism between each other.
Have you seen The Five Bloods?
Yeah, the relationship between black and Jewish communities is very interesting. It's also, Louis Farrakhan and all that shit.
Have you seen The Five Bloods yet?
I haven't seen Da 5 Bloods. Is it good?
No, I don't know. I haven't seen it either. I assume it is good. I want to watch it.
Are you it's Spike Lee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black Klansman was not great. It's the last Spike Lee movie I watched.
I didn't see that one.
It was kind of just propaganda, which is weird for Spike Lee. Seems a little weird for Spike Lee, you know?
Pro-cop stuff? What?
It's fairly pro-cop, or like, I feel like the movie expressly argues that there is a way through the system in order to defeat systemic racism.
Oh.
Which seems, less radical than Spike Lee had been in the past, or at least, capitulating to a more liberal idea of development.
Well,
I mean,
that can lead
Harry Belafonte's in it too.
That can lead us to our next topic about trying to fix the system through the system with the border crisis.
The border crisis?
Yeah.
Where is there a border crisis?
So whenever the Republicans can, they say there's a border crisis, and so now there's a border crisis. And Ted Cruz.
Oh shit!
Ted Cruz went to the border.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And
he's so fucking fat, man.
Yeah, he's
Jesus. I didn't appreciate how fucking fat, and not like attractive fat either. Bad fat.
Yeah, he's looking bad. We should shame him. But no one call my high school, please. My high school wouldn't care about the fat shaming, but they would care about me saying something bad about Ted Cruz. So
look, I look bad. My torso looks like Ted Cruz's, and it's a bad torso. It's not a good torso. It's formless. It's like a starless night. Blackened soul of the devil.
My torso. Imagine like a vanilla Tootsie Roll. That's my torso.
It's like a big bowl of banana pudding.
Yeah, like it's kind of like creme brulee, but that has yet to be bruleed.
It's sort of like a bunch of medical waste in a white garbage bag.
Yeah,
just sloshing around.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
What's he doing on the border? What's Teddy doing on the border?
He was trying to take a video of the deplorable conditions that the migrants are in, and they are bad. And then a woman is trying to block him from taking the video, and he's like, "Why are you trying to block me from taking a video?" And so now they're being like, "This is all Biden's fault."
And I mean, he's in power now, so yeah, it is kind of.
Okay.
He has the power to stop this.
He doesn't really have the power to stop it that quickly.
No, not that quickly. But who would have more power to stop it? The Greg Abbott?
Well, no. Congress has had the power to stop it for years by providing a path to legalization. But currently, like, the role of the executive branch is not to somehow declare that they are, like, allowed in the country and there's no way for them to be given citizenship at this point because Congress has to allow that. What needs to happen is for there to be a path to citizenship. So it's really like the Republicans can't just blame the executive branch, and we shouldn't either. I mean, Trump made it worse, but the problem is that there's no path to citizenship.
I mean, what he does have the power to do is to end deportations. He could just end deportations.
Well,
right?
yeah, but that's not the problem. The problem is that they have a really shitty way of dealing with people coming across the border. They should improve that, but that takes some time because you have to like create a whole new system, and they have inherited a shitty system. So the only thing is that for a senator to say anyone else can blame the Biden administration except sitting senators, because they could fix it in a way that would fix it permanently. And I just get mad when people in the government act like they don't know how the government works. And Ted Cruz, like, it's...
That's all Ted Cruz's bit. Yeah. Like, getting mad at Ted Cruz is like getting mad at, the Iron Sheik. He's supposed to be a heel,
Yeah, he is terrible on purpose. But
that's his role. Ted Cruz, I think, realized, I have the worst face on the planet. Everybody hates me already. How can I use that to my advantage?
And I don't want to I'm not like defending the Biden administration, but I am defending the way our government should work, which is that Congress should pass a bill making citizenship like easy to get for people who come across the border. Like, it should take like a year, maybe. Like, you got to pass it, I don't know, a basic test, and they should give the test in Spanish.
Look, Matt Gaetz already proved himself with Nestor. Let's let him take everyone.
Matt Gaetz.
Send him on to Matt Gaetz' house.
Okay, that's this is not the time for jokes, man. Oh yeah, I guess so. Anyway, there's a border crisis because the Republicans say there is. Even there's always a border crisis is the answer.
Yeah, of course, because the border, it turns out, is a semi-permeable membrane. And a wall is very impractical for many reasons. Because of things like terrain.
We have we have also set up a massive system of like taking in people and putting them in these detention centers. Like we have that set up. I don't know.
Yeah, you know how much more money we could be making if we just would like had these people in under the table, janitor or farmer positions, like the whole neoliberal orthodoxy was supposed to work.
Well,
hush illegal work.
There is like, I don't know. Some people would argue like, well, they could just do nothing. I don't think that's a sincere response. I don't think that the executive branch could just like abdicate border control.
You know what it is? It's you rely on the illegal labor. I shouldn't say illegal labor. You rely on the undocumented labor. And but simultaneously you also have to do the security theater. So you rely on these people. You're almost totally dependent on their labor in order to subsidize your food prices. Which you depend on to keep your weird economy afloat. But also you have to periodically destroy their lives so that the rest of the citizens, don't get too uppity about this slave class.
Well, I think we're talking about different people. I'm not sure that the migrant workers that regularly come are the same ones who are coming for asylum. Like, there's asylum seekers and then there's
we're talking about, like, Guatemalans and stuff?
Yeah, there's asylum seekers and there's migrant laborers. And, I mean, the situation at the border is in like a stasis because companies want the status quo because you're right. They have a very manipulable source of labor that if there was a path to citizenship, those newly minted citizens could they would be a powerful force. They would be a powerful labor force, like who could demand improved working conditions. So companies all over don't want Congress fixing it.
Yeah.
And there you go. The executive branch, like, they only have the hammer, basically. They aren't given a pen. So you can either apply hammer or not apply hammer. And you need the legislative branch to make any kind of nuance. And you need that. You need to create basically just a path to citizenship. And it would be,
Okay.
Next.
Okay, but hear me out.
Topic. Oh, okay.
Hear me out.
Okay.
What about a hammer?
Oh, okay.
Next topic.
Okay, next topic was Amazon tweeting at Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, you don't really believe the thing about piss bottles, do you? You don't really believe the piss bottle thing, do you?
That was their first tweet, right?
Yeah, that was the first one I don't know what this entity is. Like, I've never heard of Amazon News before, but it recently made the rounds on Twitter because of a series of just tweets that nobody likes. Nobody likes Amazon. Everybody uses it begrudgingly because they've somehow wormed their way into the lives of everybody, and they hate them as a result of that. So Amazon News, tweeting at Bernie Sanders, literally the most popular politician in America. Like, the highest approval rating out of anybody, crosses left and right divides because, he's the only non-lizard person there. And Elizabeth Warren herself, who's still pretty fucking popular, two very popular politicians, and they're saying their plans aren't going to work, and minimum wage is for assholes. Federal minimum wage is for assholes. Or what did they tweet to Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders couldn't even get minimum wage past $11.25 in Vermont. We pay our workers $15 an hour. That shit. Facetious shit.
Yeah, I think that it's the Amazon News is like the anti-union department at Amazon. I think Amazon News is probably responsible for producing their anti-union propaganda videos that they show to all their new hires. It's probably a whole branch. And I think it's really just their anti-unionization department.
Yeah. I mean, one of the best arguments I've ever heard about why unions are good is that people will always say, unions don't work, they just take your dues and do nothing. Well, if unions didn't work, why do you think Amazon is trying to fight against this so hard?
And just as a callback to the previous issue, ICE has a union.
Yeah, exactly. Police unions are some of the strongest and most powerful. And unfortunately, they're the bad unions because they're the ones that break up all the other unions.
And the Border Patrol agents also have a union, and the detention center workers have a union. And guess what all those unions are fighting for on the border? It's not a path to citizenship. They want more reasons to arrest people. Anyway,
but apes together strong for sure. All of this is coming out because of Bessemer, Alabama, the ongoing Amazon union drive in Bessemer, Alabama, which, if this is successful, means that all Amazon workers could unionize. There would be a precedent set, especially in a state that doesn't have exactly the best labor laws around. I'm just assuming that. I don't know anything about Alabama, except that I assume it's backwards because I'm lazy.
You're probably right. They probably do not have great labor laws there.
Yeah, but so if they're able to do it in Alabama, think about what they're able to do in a state with stronger labor laws. I don't know. Is labor federal? No, labor is state, right?
It's a combo. There's a few federal regulations, and then some states go further.
Yeah. So that's very important. So this Amazon News, I think it has sort of erupted in visibility as a result of that union drive as well. So it's just really miscalculating its ability to be liked with all this. Because this is the type of liberal rhetoric that the Pod Save guys should be about. But even those guys have abandoned this type of... You really just can't get away with... being Amazon and saying shit like this. Everybody knows you're evil. Even people that love capitalism think you're evil.
Yeah. Amazon's so hard to avoid now, though. It's crazy. I don't know. I guess you could use Wayfair. We've been using Wayfair for some things.
But I think, even amongst people that love capitalism, rebellion against ubiquity is definitely a thing. That's a theme in King of the Hill, where Hank is constantly at odds with the Megalomart. Yeah. The Megalomart represents convenience, but it also represents a destruction. It represents life out of balance, And, I think while Americans love Walmart, they also hate it, too.
I was reading over Hank Hill quotes to try to find any references to paint and the need to respect paint. But I was unable to find any good Hank Hill references about respecting paint. Instead,
the drywall.
Instead, I was treated to rereading a segment where he's at Megalomart trying to find the hardware department, and who is it? Buckley, Luann's boyfriend. Just it's like, why do you want to know? And he won't tell him where it is. And he's like, well, what do you want? Like, what do you want to get? And by the end of it, Hank Hill's like, "You're fired," because the only response he can have in times of immense stress is just to try to take on the role of the manager and fire Buckley. Yeah. But he can't. He doesn't work there. "You're fired, mister. Tell me where the dang hardware store is."
Great show. Oh my god. But yeah, We do the you love the low prices of the Megalomart, but you also hate it because you understand what it's doing. That is very much, the feature of neoliberal capitalism in general. You love it, but you hate it because you know what it's doing. You know it's rotting the world out from the inside, but provides you with such sort of serene and passable comfort and distraction that you can't mobilize.
Well, in quick show news, we now have a website. Mm-hmm. There's nothing on the website, but you can go to www.houseofdecline.com right now and click on a link to go to a different website if you want to. Bought it yesterday. Was just going over the charges. Cost $3,000. So we're going to need to crowdfund that.
Have a Patreon.
Yeah, we're going to need to crowdfund that. And that's not a lie. It really costs that much. I wouldn't lie about things like money.
Give us your jewels. There's a special jewel transaction thing.
Mm-hmm. So
give us your diamonds and your sapphires.
The reason, of course, we made this business decision, of course, is because the podcast is taking off. We've reached, I think, 18 listeners in almost every country in the world. Except for however many there are besides the first 18. So just a little congratulatory note before we move on to the last topic of the day, which is the George Floyd trial starts tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
And one note about the George Floyd trial is that, so what could happen is that he could potentially be decided guilty or innocent. That's obvious. If he is decided guilty, he could appeal. Mm-hmm. And the reason I bring this up, if he's decided guilty instead of the more shocking verdict, which would be he's decided innocent, is that if he's decided guilty and appeals, one of the only successful appeals on not being allowed to change the venue of the trial was based on a similar case. Because the argument is that all the jurors have been so bombarded by the media that they're scared that they're going to cause a riot if they find him innocent. And so that's why there's a chance if he's found guilty, his appeal could be successful for change of venue. So that's the only info I can bring.
It seems you're kind of breaking the old adage of a jury of your peers. You're not really being judged by your peers if you're not in the community which you patrol. Maybe that fear of inciting a riot should play a factor into the judgment of police. Maybe it should. Maybe that is a legal precept that we don't consider because we think of dispassion as being one thing.
Well, we don't.
As being not informed by emotion.
Riots are illegal, so the law system wouldn't. That's sort of a perverse way to think about incentives. I don't.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the law should condone like the use of emotional reasoning or whatever in legal judgments, but I'm just saying practically it does. There's no one decides a legal case, no jury and no judge for that matter decides a legal case purely on a reading of the facts. Your bias always enters into it, including the cultural context which you're in. And, if, the cultural context you're in is limited to a specific geography, then maybe that does play a relevant factor. Maybe that does play an objective factor that deserves to play a role in sentencing.
Okay. Granted, but there's precedent in the other direction, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But, okay, say you do a change of venue and Derek Chauvin is found innocent in another community. Wouldn't a riot start anyway?
Not in the community of the juror. So it wouldn't be, you couldn't say it was tainted by the fact that the jurors were scared that there was going to be a riot in where their own homes were located. Because the problem is that the jurors might be scared that a riot could actually directly affect them, which could cloud their judgment.
Okay. But so it's okay if jurors are afraid that their judgment will negatively affect other people.
What do you mean?
Well, you don't think like a juror could, like, if I find this guy not guilty, then someone in a different town, their house will burn or something like that. You don't think that's worth disqualifying someone over? Or is, the idea that people, since self-interest is such a huge factor, people's judgment will be skewed by that?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. That's a call for the judge. It's a judgment call.
It sort of reminds me of the use of the question of whether the N-word could be used in the O.J. Simpson trial. And Christopher Darden argued that the N-word is so shocking and so horrible that it will blind the jury to any sense of reason, and they won't see anything but a setup by the LAPD.
I think that's different.
Yeah, I mean, it's different, but it's in the same way that the idea that a jury will be overcome by emotion, or will be overcome by this material circumstance, or this idea of context within their community, so much so that their judgment will be altered beyond reason.
Well, the reason this appeal that I can't, a successful appeal for change of venue that I'm referring to, the reason why they won is because one of the jurors said that I was afraid they were going to burn my house down if I found him innocent. So
there you go.
That's why he won the appeal. That kind of influence is enough for a judge to throw out the verdict.
But do you think if he gets a change of venue, especially to like maybe a wider venue, he's more likely to get an easier time? Because isn't that usually a concern as well?
Yeah, that is. I'm not arguing that there should be a change of venue, but I'm just saying that there could be a successful appeal.
Happen.
It could probably happen. I don't know. It's tricky because I don't know how I feel about jury of your peers. Why shouldn't it just be like 12 qualified judges that we all voted on?
Yeah, I mean, these are legal questions, which I don't have the philosophical wherewithal to answer.
Yeah, you do. Come on, tell me why.
Okay. Jury of your peers, it could be more like the civil... This is more of a feature of common law, having a jury of your peers.
Mm-hmm.
In the civil system, where it's more the inquisitorial model, the idea is that advocates sort of work it out with the judge, as opposed to, shouting opposing arguments at each other. And the civil model is used in France and other European jurisdictions. Well, common law comes from England primarily. And the common law model is adversarial and is also dependent on juries. Although I do think they have juries in the civil law model, so forget everything I ever said.
And that's our law blog.
That's our law. Now we're the law dogs. It's the Law Dog Podcast.
That's the law.
Featuring Law Dog Jerry and Law Dog Logan.
That was the law blob. The law blob. Yeah. It was a blob of law.
The law blob. There's the old Arrested Development joke. We got Bob Law's law blog.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Lucille 1.
Yeah, Jessica Walter, she died. Sad. She was hot.
Sucks.
She was like a hot 80-year-old woman. Yeah.
It was bad news, man. I didn't want to hear that. That made me sad.
It's sad when somebody dies, but it's sad when like a hot 80-year-old dies. It makes me super sad.
Yeah, it makes Alex really sad when a hot old lady dies.
Yeah, I don't like it when I like when old ladies die. Terrible. Hot old ladies, immense tragedy. Immense
when
tragedy.
Susan Sarandon dies. Oh man.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna be in tears. Yeah. I'm gonna be bawling.
What's the one everyone always cites?
Helen Mirren.
Yeah, Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren dies. Oh my god, the world will. It's melancholia when Helen Mirren dies.
We're just like, our grief is so immense that it has a mass which is heavier than the earth, which has caused the earth to collapse. Such is melancholia.
Yeah, this is the grief over Hellcat's death.
Yeah. Let's see. I had no more topics.
You got no more topics. What topics do I have? What wonderful topics have I added? The Suicide Squad movie is happening with James Gunn, and they're making a remake of Suicide Squad. It has all your favorite characters. It's got King Shark.
Wait, slow down. They're doing Suicide Squad again?
Yeah, but with James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Why?
Because there's money to be had, and they feel like they fucked up the first time, and they can make a lot more money with James Gunn.
No, the first one was fine. That was all we needed.
They made a lot of money, but it was like... See, the problem with DC is I feel they want their cake and eat it too. Like, they want to be critical darlings, which they kind of got with Joker. They kind of got their wish, in a way. So...
I don't understand why they can't do new material. It's crazy.
Because I understand what DC's pivot is now in the comic book wars, which is, okay, Marvel's going all their TV shit. What we need to do is produce prestige shit. We're going to start producing, like, the art superhero movies, which is, I think, what this Suicide Squad thing is supposed to be. Because it's very much in the same sort of nostalgic style as Joker 2. It, like, harkens back to a lot of 70s movies and the way it's shot and the way its poster is arranged as well. And so I think it's in order to have this sense of auteurist authenticity, it's relying on this nostalgic aesthetic, which, you know, some people see through as this blatant...
And according to my theory, James Gunn should hold wildly reactionary beliefs. Let me peruse his Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, he did get in trouble. He got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy for having edgy South Park-esque tweets from his trauma days. And then he said he evolved on the issue. Actually, what James Gunn believes now is he has very neoliberal takes. He, like, disses Bernie Sanders and shit. So... You know, I didn't expect it. I like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I like all of his movies. I love Slither. I love Super. I love... I didn't like Brightburn. Brightburn was kind of lame. But, yeah, James Gunn, I think he's a good filmmaker. I liked Romeo and Juliet. I liked his Scooby-Doo movies that he wrote. I don't like the Scooby-Doo movies.
Well, I can't believe they're doing it. Who's playing Harley Quinn?
It's Margot Robbie again.
What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
People love that character. I think they look, her movie didn't make money, but her toys sell. There's the Q ratings through the roof. We gotta keep milking this cow, you know?
What is going... I do not understand how they could make the same movie again.
It's called The Suicide Squad. It's sort of like a Fast and the Furious thing.
The Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it's not Suicide Squad. It's called The Suicide Squad.
That's big. That's a big thing.
But it has Sylvester Stallone as a big CGI shark.
That's lame.
Yeah.
It's lame.
It's got Idris Elba in it, and John Cena, and a cast of characters that you recognize from things.
Americans haven't made good movies since like The Matrix. That's about it. That's about all I have to say. The Matrix, and then all the other good movies are like a Chinese person comes in and does like Nomadland, and we're like, oh, so America makes the best movies. It's like, no, we don't.
The only good movies are Shawshank movies.
What did you say? Shawshank? The only good movie is Shawshank?
No, not Shawshank. Is Shawshank.
Oh. Wait, you say Shawshank?
The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, we're going to get canceled for that one, too.
Well, how is that getting canceled? Because his name sounds vaguely like Shawshank?
You just got us canceled for, like, 4 weeks.
For anti-Asian racism? Yeah. Oh, God damn it. Damn it. Yeah. I forgot. That's the one now. Yeah, that's the one you can't do now.
Do that one now, asshole.
Oh, God damn it. I did once get in trouble because I made, like, a very stupid joke on social media. I said, you know, what do you call Filipinos who are bad at playing poker? Manila folders. And then someone chewed me out for anti-Asian racism.
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
you can't make fun of the names. I've learned that you can't make fun of the names.
You shouldn't make fun of people for where they're from, even if it's lighthearted, I guess.
I mean, there's a way to do it that I don't know how to do. Well, there's a way to do it without being offensive.
I think you can do it to people from Canada and America who are white, like you and me,
yes,
we can make fun of each other. Like I could be like, what are those notes up there? Like a love letter to no one up there on your corkboard.
Oh yeah, Steven's referencing a corkboard and the fact that I'm very lonely. No, I'm actually quite. I'm very happy.
Burn.
Yeah, I mean, the general rule is you can make fun of whatever you are. So I can make gay jokes and Jew jokes, right?
Yeah, and I since I'm a void, I get to make fun of the void.
Those voids are so cheap. They're so lazy. They're always cheating you. Those womanizing voids.
What happened with YouTuber Lindsay Ellis? Can you? Because I
do know this drama. I can't explain this drama.
What did she do?
So, Lindsay Ellis is a YouTuber who is left-wing and is friends with all the other big YouTubers like ContraPoints, and they have their own weird insular community of big YouTubers. Because whenever you have like strident opinions or you take any position and you have a big audience, people are going to come at you for even the mildest of bad takes. And if you have like a lot of mild bad takes build up over the years, it can, spill over. So it happened to Lindsay Ellis on Twitter. She had a bad take, or I guess it was a bad take. I'll leave it up to the interpreters on this one to say it was a bad take. But she said the new Disney movie Raya and the Last Dragon was similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and people said that was anti-Asian racism because this animated movie with an Asian aesthetic is similar to the other animated thing with an Asian aesthetic. That seems kind of, reductive and a bit anti-Asian. And Lindsay tried to tweet through it and failed. So she deleted her Twitter because what had happened is people started bringing up her bad tweets from years past, including one very crazy one, which even I was like, okay, that one was very bad, where she wrote about seeing the movie Harriet on a plane about Harriet Tubman and then wondering if there was any fan fiction between Harriet and her slave master, which is, whoa!
That's crazy.
And, I know that was a joke about, people doing weird fan fiction about movies, so that would happen and that would exist, but, Lindsay Ellis has, a pretty middle-of-the-road audience, and that's almost a fucking come-down joke, so it's crazy that she would post it.
That is, why didn't she ever delete that one?
She didn't delete. I don't know what I guess, once you get big enough and you get enough praise, sometimes you get enough praise that for a while you're shielded from the idea that anybody criticizes you seriously. And until it, all boils over when you do one take that's bad enough, especially, during a time where people are very sensitive, as they should be, about anti-Asian racism. Considering been high-profile, a lot of high-profile media stories about it.
Yeah, it's difficult when your brand, your personality brand is your career. I can't imagine having to do that. We should never do that. If the pod ever gets successful, I'm going to quit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're both going to quit. Screw you guys.
Yeah, we're both going to nuke this shit.
Screw you guys. We're going to our respective houses.
Just like problematic Matt and
Problematic Cartman.
Problematic Cartman.
Yeah.
Cartman, no. You're making me do transphobia. Cartman, no. Stop directing my head.
Is South Park on still?
Yeah, still very popular.
Yeah.
People love it. People see it as a source of irreverence. People still base their personalities on it.
I got a little too annoyed with South Park because of their really lazy production schedule. They were like, we'll do 3 episodes every half year. And so it's like, okay, I don't care. Put out more content. Put out a Broadway play or something. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
I didn't see their play.
I don't care about plays about Mormons.
Yeah.
The Mormons never did anything to me. No, as to paraphrase Muhammad Ali, no more. Never mind.
Don't finish that sentence. Don't finish that sentence. Oh my God. And I'm sure plenty of Mormons called Muhammad Ali that word.
It's like Chet
when he was touring through Utah.
That's something Chet Hanks would say. Chet Hanks would non-ironically paraphrase Muhammad Ali's Vietnam War protest statement.
Yo, people always be stunting on white women, but no white woman ever call me. Skål!
Yeah, he should.
Bombaklat! Skål!
Yeah, he would need to be disciplined by. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Chet, even though you're different, we love you very much, son. You know that, right?
Are you being Tom Hanks?
I'm being Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks sounds like Obama.
I can't. I have one voice. That I do.
Man.
What does Tom Hanks? I can't do a Tom Hanks voice. It's pretty subtle.
So are we going to cancel Fred Armisen for playing Obama?
What?
Should we?
He's
Remember that?
No, because Fred Armisen is most of the races, so he can get away with it.
I think that sounds like an argument he would say.
Yeah.
As a bit. He's like, actually, I'm 1% of every race.
Kind of. He's like, what is he? He's his weird heritage episode. His dad was Korean, who was like a Japanese defector or something like that. I don't know. And his mom is Hispanic. I don't know what Fred Armisen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doing racial quantums. This episode on Haus of Decline, it's all racial quantums. What percentage of the rock do you think is which?
That brings up something crazy I saw in the news. There's this World Wrestling match where the president, Vince McMahon, says the N-word multiple times. And
like how long ago?
In the 90s. Like, so what the storyline is is that he starts listening to gangsta rap or something. And so then he thinks that he can say the N-word, and so he says it several times to like Booker T, who looks horrified, and then he says it to The Rock, and then The Rock knocks him out and puts him in a coma. So the way that they set it up was it was like some kind of weird morality play. But the episode has been pulled, finally, from their streaming service.
Yes, for NBC Universal is pulling all the racist episodes of... I follow a lot of black wrestling fans on Twitter, and they when this news came out, it's like, they're going to pull all the racist episodes of WWE. It's like, that's like half the episodes. What are you doing?
That was...
WWE is very racist organization.
I found, like, the New York Times linked to the clip, and it was shocking. So I can't believe, like, that was like in 94 or 5, or when was The Rock? Maybe it was like 98?
Well, Booker T wasn't in the WWE until, like, the WCW crossover in, like, the 2000s. The Rock was hot shit in 97 to 98 in the when it was still the WWF.
Well, The Rock made several returns. I mean...
Yeah, but when his original heyday, the original Rock fever of when everybody was saying jabroni and, know your role and can you smell what the Rock is cooking.
This was after the first Rock popularity swing, because Booker T was there. So, okay, it was 2005.
That's even crazier. So that's even, I don't know, the later it is.
Yeah, John Cena, because John Cena was crazy. There. I was like, John Cena.
Oh my God, John Cena was there. Oh my God. Then Boy Scout John Cena looking very uncomfortable. But the thing is, Vince McMahon is like, he does say the N-word in real life, probably.
Yeah, Vince McMahon is like...
and he is the villain.
Is a bad man, and his bad wife was in the Trump administration.
Sure was. Linda. Shout out to Connecticut.
Is that where they're...
the worst
state.
Where
they're from?
Yeah, that's where WWE is based. They're East Coast elites.
That's so weird.
They turned... Yeah, the wrestling into a East Coast elite thing.
Like, do they have... Does Vince McMahon have a big, dumb son who's going to take over?
Well, he has Shane McMahon.
Great.
Yes, Shane McMahon is actually. I don't know if he's going to take over. Shane seems to be. He seems to be callow and does not have the killer spirit of Vince. But the daughter, Stephanie McMahon, would be funny as like the new big villain.
Of course, his daughter. She was married to Triple H.
She's still married to Triple H.
They're going to take over. Right.
That's probably the successor to the
Dude, Triple
position.
H, what a creep.
Is he a creep? What did he do?
I just think he's a total creep.
Yeah, probably. I mean, wrestling is a seedy and strange
Triple
world.
H controversies. Hold on, just Googling up some controversy here.
Just any controversy you can summon about Triple H.
There's a Quora page. What are the biggest controversies of Triple H?
Biggest controversies of Triple H.
I don't know. I think I read an article about him, like a long-form article. He's got plenty of controversies, but you can't search for controversies Triple H. I'd have to search for his real name.
Yeah, something like Paul Boucher or something like that. But, I mean, they've covered up murders before, so, World Wrestling is no stranger to...
Yeah, but have they ever covered up a murder?
The underbelly.
Have they ever covered up a murder on live national TV?
Kind of, with Owen Hart, There's a lot of conspiracy theories about the death of Owen Hart.
Is that related to Shawn Michaels somehow?
Owen Hart was friends with Shawn Michaels and was generally part of the same group, but Owen Hart was Bret Hart's brother, and he died descending from the rafters from an improperly fastened harness. They were trying to make fun of Sting in the WCW. Sting's popular move was to descend from the rafters.
Not Sting the musician, though.
Not Sting the no.
That was funny if Sting the musician.
On that note,
tried to wrestle.
On that note, I sing Fields of Gold to myself every morning in the shower. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, na 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 na. In your fields of gold, in your fields of gold, I will fuck you in the fields of gold.
Wow, that's so nice.
In the fields of gold, in the fields of
we need
gold,
some, like, water
the
sounds.
Fields of gold and fields of...
That's really cool.
In the fields of
I'm
gold.
jealous of your neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah. They're lucky people. Well, we did 15 topics.
15
today.
to 16 topics.
15 topics. 15 to 16 topics
happy.
today. 16 topics, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
I can't believe there's a new Suicide Squad. That pisses me off so much.